Hey everyone, it's Drew the DM here, and today is going to be a very special video because we are celebrating Andreas' 21st birthday, so I'm going to go through and count down my top 10 favorite Earthmover moments from throughout our Enter the Dungeon campaign. I have to say, being able to do this is an unexpected but really helpful benefit of having published all of these sessions. I mean, sure, I would definitely remember my favorite moments if we were just playing this normally, but being able to record and put it together like this is definitely a great benefit. So, without further ado, let's just begin counting down with number 10, negotiating on invisibility potions. So, very early on, the party was in the town of Gempo. A string of thefts had rocked the community, and the party was asked to investigate and reclaim the stolen items from a nearby townhouse. A potion seller asked them to grab his invisibility potions, and we had this exchange.
Okay, let's see now. Visibility potion like that sells pretty... Okay. For each one that you're able to bring back to me, I will reimburse you 5 gold.
We want 20 gold each, I scream out.
What? Oh. Hello, child. And the older elf says, oh, hello, dear. 20 gold each. Are you sure that's what you want? Is that what you really want?
I mean, I'll do 50.
No. Child, don't you know that sometimes it doesn't always pay to over-ask people?
It literally would pay. She's asking for more money.
Yeah, what he said. Give me $50.
No, it's kind of more of a metaphor type deal. Sometimes you shouldn't try to exploit people in need.
What's a metaphor?
It's easier if you just ignore the things that come out of her mouth.
Yeah, it literally would pay was such a great one-liner on his part that I still think about all the time. I mean, there's just such quick-witted, just jumping in, immediately knowing what to say in the conversation to be able to move things along like that. Again, being able to, play off of what Alicia was saying. Great role play, great one-liner. Really loved it. I remember actually after the session, Andreas and we were sitting on call, and I asked him, hey, was that you spiting me or Earthmover spiting an old man? And he just said, both. There was no separation there between player and character. Just perfectly lined up everything. Not a major plot-changing moment, but it was really fun and just a great one-liner. Okay, now number 9, getting ahead of the orcs. So the party was tasked with dealing with some orcs, and so what they did was they started off by leading their chieftain away to talk and ambushed her. They cut off her head and then carried it back to the other orcs.
So 5 more orcs come out and they're facing you down.
5 more?
Yep.
Jeez, that means
there's
6
4
on...
more. There's 5 total.
There's 5, okay.
Oh.
Yeah. And the one who's talking to you is kind of like, he's standing in the front of them and says, do you have any idea what you've done?
Yes. I've given you some actual incentive to maybe leave.
Perhaps we just take you down right here, right now?
If that's what you want to do.
Make me an intimidation roll. Because that's very much what you're doing.
Ooh. Where is intimidation? 21. No crit, though.
Yeah. He just, looks at the skewered head, looks up at you, and he says, he's bested our leader in combat. By the ancient traditions, we must respect his demands.
McFricking leave! Don't come back. Don't send anyone back here. Leave.
Now, I like this moment because the players were looking to minimize violence. This would become a common practice throughout the rest of the campaign. They would let people surrender or retreat. They chose to employ strong arm diplomacy rather than just be murder hobos, and I really like that. I mean, after all, leaving people alive, well, opens up the opportunity for further interaction with them. Okay, number 8. Bringing down the house. So, a few months back, the party was going through Tower Dragonwrath and landed on the dining room table of some giants. After a few rounds of combat, they realized that they weren't doing well with the direct approach. So instead, Earthmover decided to pull a trick. He had not yet attacked either giant and was able to play off being on their side. He pretended to knock out the party as an offering, and then he told the giants that they should arm wrestle to determine who would eat first. Roll the clip.
But as I fell, you see that I have my other hand into the crossbow a little bit.
Okay,
But, like,
I would have probably put
trying
your
to-
back to the giants then for whatever it is you might have wanted to do. Their attention also seems pretty firmly on me, so
So
I'm
then
not
I
as
want
worried
to
about it, as long as
see
you're
if
not
I
moving
can
around.
quietly reload. I want to quietly reload.
Yeah, that's fine. While this clamoring's going around, you can ready your shot.
All right.
Okay, and Earthmover, the guy on top, he had a very decided victory. Slammed the other guy's hand on the
I-
table,
I hadn't said go yet.
and the other guy says, "Yes, you are cheater. That's why I lost."
So I will declare a countdown, and by the end of at the end of the count, you will both begin to force against each other. Are both parties ready?
Yes, very well then, small friend.
3, 2, 1, begin. And as soon as they begin struggling against each other, I'm going to have drawn another circle during my explanation and drop the chandelier on both of their heads.
Do you want to know what the best part is?
What?
They tied. They are struggling
stayed
so
perfectly in
hard
the
right
middle.
now. Boom!
Awesome.
Wait, but you're on the chandelier, so you're gonna fall with it, right?
Yeah, it's fine.
And the raven, of course.
So there we go. He managed to drop a chandelier on them. It was honestly one of his most clever uses of alchemy. I just love his quick thinking in this moment and clever use of resources. I mean, after all, most people would just consider the chandelier part of the background, but Earthmover was able to put it to his advantage. And I think that that's why Andreas is able to play Earthmover so well. He's able to think about different ways that he can employ his alchemy just using these everyday items around him. Number 7, meeting back up with Billy Queen. 2 years back, the party had just finished doing a job for some druids who lived in a magic tree city. This tree was in the center of a magic ring in the middle of the forest, and rather than make them track back through the very magical, dangerous parts of the woods, the druids had their beast tamer give them a ride. So they climbed up on a manticore.
Unless
Yeah,
I
and
am very that nimble.
The
and
manticore
confident.
starts flapping its wings, and it soars upwards,
Oh my!
and starts just going straight up extremely quickly.
Oh,
Whoa! Let's touch the sky!
the sky
like
isn't
a
a physical,
tag
touchable
dragon.
object.
It's an expression. By the way, you might want to close your mouth.
That's fair. Wait, but he has to open his mouth and yell useless things that don't make sense?
I have training! Yep, and you just climb up and up and up. And after a while, you're able to see the whole of the 50-mile woods stretched out beneath you.
Hate that.
Let's see now. Both of you, are you going to be looking around, or are your eyes sealed shut?
Oh no, my eyes are shut. I'm terrified.
Fitch?
I'm gonna try keeping them, but I don't think I can. I'm gonna roll for it.
Yeah, go ahead and roll Constitution.
You got a bug in your eye. Take 5 piercing.
Oh, no, this isn't an issue of getting bugs in your eye. This is just an issue of sheer terror.
Oh, fair enough.
Sheer terror. Here we go.
What'd you get?
It is not 20. Holy cow!
Yeah, you're just, like, suddenly everything clicks for you. This just feels amazing. Woohoo! Freedom! Take that, ground!
I want to get taken back to the ground.
Yeah, and you can actually see out in the west the ocean. And
Okay.
go ahead and make me a perception check to sort of look around.
How's a 13?
Okay, so yeah, with a 13, you're able to see some of the towns around you, and it kind of gives you like a nice perspective. Makes you realize, everything's kind of connected, isn't it? We're all part of the same world.
I mean, I would hope so.
Yep. And then
Except
the
for that one
Manticore
island.
suddenly changes direction.
Ugh.
And by that I mean he starts going down instead of up.
Was he just nosediving?
Yep. And he says, by the way, do you have health insurance?
Oh,
What's health insurance?
Do you have resurrection insurance?
Probably not.
yeah.
Are you immune to fall damage?
Absolutely not.
Because Phoebus just fell asleep.
What?
I'm
Wait,
kidding!
what?
He yells and pulls out of the nosedive.
Oh my god.
Then he just starts to circle around the Feywild. Just slowly descending downwards. Until he lands outside of it, safely in front, directly on the main pathway, pointed towards Seawood, and you hear a familiar voice yell, "What on earth is that?" And you see that
Is it
Billy Queen is just camped out there.
Billy, I have never in my life been happy to see you except now.
Don't you mean you've never been happier to see me?
Whatever.
You know what? The whole thing was just a really fun interaction, and the phrase, "I have never been happy to see you before," was such an amazing quip. Yeah, Andreas is really good at one-liners. Okay. You know what? I should have that Manticore guy come back, give them another ride. Getting. Okay. Now, number 6 is bribing the Acid Dragon. So shortly after this Manticore ride, they were heading north to the city of Feral when they got intercepted by a dragon. The dragon demanded an offering to not attack them, and so Earthmover gave him an offering of knowledge by explaining that people would pay just to see a dragon in action. That way he wouldn't risk hurting himself in battle. Earthmover also ended up giving him one of his bottles of giant vodka. So it was a very clever way for Earthmover to turn the situation to his advantage without violence. So do you give him the bottle?
Yeah.
Okay. And he says, "Yes. Very well then, you may approach me."
Ooh, that is a pretentious dragon. Okay. So I root around in the carriage. I get out the bottle and I walk it over to him.
Okay.
Can he open this bottle? I assume not.
Okay. You may place it in front of me.
I do so.
Yes. Very well then, you are dismissed. He picks the bottle up with a claw and flies away. So yeah, it was a clever way for Earthmover to turn a situation to his advantage without violence, and you always gotta love when players do that. Okay, now number 5, the encounter with the Ogre Lord. So, rewinding a bit actually to before they met the Druids and were traveling in the woods with an unconscious Thitch, Earthmover and Gerald, they were just searching through, completely lost, unable to find their way, so when they stumble into a clearing.
What you see is a group of ogres sitting at a campfire, and Earthmover, you notice that there is a Goliath among them.
Oh.
And another person who kind of looks like an ogre, also kind of looks like a human.
Okay.
And they hear you. And the Goliath man, halt. Who are you? And what are you doing?
I raise my hands in a non-threatening gesture, or whatever would be a non-threatening gesture, and what I know is Goliath custom, and I say in Giant, "We're here looking for the Druidic Conclave."
Another group searching for the conclave. And then he gets a closer look and says, you seem to be one of my brethren. Hello, my name is Bienzo Ogre Lord Mythagag Ian.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Ogre Lord.
He looks at you expectantly.
I am Shantai Earthmover Lithmoriana.
Why do they call you the Earthmover?
I with magic constructed a large ring of walls around my village as an avalanche was coming to wipe it out off the mountain.
You are a wizard?
No. I am an alchemist. I study the laws of equivalent exchange. Rather than create,
Interesting.
I transmute.
Dragonkin, what be your name?
I'm Geralt of Acerro. Nice to meet you. And I put my hand out to shake it.
Yeah, and at this point, like, the various ogres are just kind of like cheering, like, yeah, let's see what these fellas are made out of. Ogre Lord, he says, oh, don't mind them. You know, sometimes I wonder if it weren't for my friend Asker here, and he pats the shoulder of the person that looks like he's part human. I wonder if I would go insane from lack of proper conversation. And Asker stands up and says, hello, I am Asker.
Hello, Asker.
Are you Asker of asking?
Huh. No, but I'm surprised how many times people say that. You see, these ogres, they don't... Well, they tend to repeat a lot of the same dialogue. They're not very talkative. So they just kind of... They don't speak a lot. And by that, I don't mean that they're quiet a bunch. I just mean that they don't know a lot of words.
They speak much and say little.
Yep, and Overlord says enough of that. Now, why are you in... Now, so you've passed into our clearing on the way to the Druidic Conclave?
Yes, we found ourselves a bit disoriented by the forest.
Huh. It's always a shame to see one of our own who cannot make his way through the wilderness.
Well, forests have never been my specialty. We were very high on the mountain.
Joking with you. Yes, I know that most Goliath tribes, they are from the east, where it is a bit too cold for thick forest like this to grow, is my understanding.
Yes. I take it you are
Sometimes
not
it makes it hard. You see, my left the east many years ago because they could simply not, because they had exhausted their hunting grounds.
A shame.
They kept coming here to the country of Galay, and the tribe split up. Some took city jobs, and I fault them not for it. That is another form of life and survival. Some became scholars and wizards. And my father, he and some of the others came out here to the woods. And so now I have formed my own clan here among other giantkin.
Interesting tale.
Yes. So, would you seek for us to lead you to the Druidic Conclave.
If that would be within your means and desires.
We shall, but first you must prove your worth to us. And the ogres start cheering at that. Yeah, fight, fight, fight!
So yeah, the Ogre Lord ended up challenging the two of them to a duel, which the party won. It was really cool to see Earthmover RP with another Goliath like that. And, you know, Andreas, he did tell me later that it was one of his favorite battles from throughout the campaign, and I have to agree. And who knows, maybe if they go back to the woods, they will end up meeting that tribe and get to interact with Ogre Lord again. Okay, halfway through, now to number 4, portal hacking. This one happened just 2 weeks ago. For context, when they got the Gem in the Endless Maze, they realized that if they put their other gems and magical resources together, then they could use the Endless Maze gem to hijack portals. Now, while sailing, they found that a stowaway was sleeping on their boat. And, well, rather than just let him off at the next stop, they came up with another solution.
We're worried about, like a handy haversack or something like that. Where does that space exist?
Does
that exist in the astral plane as just like a pocket of the
yeah,
astral plane?
It's basically its own demi-plane that's anchored to the astral plane.
Okay.
I think I see where you're going with this, and I really like it.
So, if we can hijack portals, and hijack them and cause them to go somewhere else temporarily that they weren't intended to go, is there anything stopping our good friend Gordon Flay here from hijacking the aperture of his interdimensional storage, or subdimensional storage, I should say, and making it spit this man out somewhere else, say on shore?
Oh my god.
I think that would almost make more sense to do it to the bag of holding, since that's a fixed
a larger
portal.
aperture. Oh, sure, okay. But either way,
yeah, you could attempt that.
Yeah, in that moment, Andreas expertly pulled together several of Earthmover's abilities in a manner that I was not expecting. I mean, theoretically, they could make a small portal every day now. Yep. But yeah, seriously, pulling together abilities in a clever manner that I was not expecting, very much something that, you know, Andreas has gotten me to expect, I guess you could say. Expect the unexpected, you know.
Yeah. First roll was a 19, boys. Second one was a 20. Let's go. I crit. So
Okay, with that, I'll let you decide, where does this portal let out?
it leads out to like the back of a pigsty, like the back of like a pig pen, like face down in the mud, like right over top of it, like it just shows up there.
And I think I have an idea. That guy that they made fall in the mud, he's going to come back as a boss in a few arcs. Like a super powerful spellcaster who controls like an army of pigs or something. There we go. The Boar Master. Oh, no, Boar Lord instead of Ogre Lord. Now we're on something. Okay. Number 3. Laying down the law on Gerald. So during one of their visits to Cape Salas, Gerald met someone who knew him while he was in the army, and that he had leaked the location of his soldiers to a bandit captain after losing a game of cards. One of Gerald's problems is that, well, he has a massive gambling issue, and so he just keeps taking bets, and that followed him even in his backstory. And now the repercussions of this might be coming through today, so Gerald decided that he wanted to silence the guy. But he didn't really tell the party what was happening, so Thitch ended up trying to stop him, and this led to a fight between Thitch and Gerald. Earthmover the whole time basically had to play mediator here to make sure that the two don't kill each other. Gerald ended up disappearing and then meeting back up with them on their trip to the next town, so Earthmover tied them up to make him listen.
There's certain things in my past which I would not like to recall.
Cool. We're in an adventuring party. We're in the business of doing not necessarily the greatest things, but we have to be able to trust each other, to not, betray each other or just
break the law out of nowhere and get the entire party in trouble.
Well, I wasn't gonna get caught until you intervened.
You also, if you had just explained it to us before you went to go do it, we could have talked out something to do about it, as opposed to you going and being sneaky and causing a scene by trying to kill Fitch after he retaliated in what I would actually equate as a just retaliation. He hit you once after you killed his raven. Doesn't really matter that he can bring it back. He can't bring it back for like more than an hour. So he hit you once. You can get that health back in an hour.
True. You're absolutely right. I guess I just wanted to take care of it myself.
Okay. You're in an adventuring party. That's maybe a noble thing to try and do, but we are here to be able to help each other. So don't take that mentality going forward. It's not helpful to us.
I hear you, and next time something arises that either I feel that I have to take care of it myself, I will communicate that with the party.
Good. We need to be able to trust each other, and that starts with extending trust so that you can be extend back. I'm glad you can understand that.
Okay.
I'll release him from his restraints.
Okay.
Now, this moment is so high up on the list because this fight could have seriously damaged the campaign. In hindsight, we probably should have talked more about what was going on out of character and tried to resolve things. That said, we were able to come to a really cool conclusion because of how well Earthmover handled being the middleman. He saved the working relationship between Thitch and Gerald. Yeah, I mean, this campaign very much, involves a lot of negotiation, politics, diplomacy. Our players are able to, really utilize those skills and not have to deal everything with violence. Because violence is not the answer. It's a question. And sometimes the answer to that question is no. Okay, number 2. The Landing and Bone Crusher. This one's a bit of a cheat. It's 2 items, but they literally happen one right after another, so I'm rolling these awesome things together. Circling back to when they were investigating those Genpo thefts, the one from the start of the video with the invisibility potions, they ended up finding a farmhouse filled with goblins and a Nothic. And at first, they had to retreat from the farmhouse, run back to town, and restock up on items, and then return. And while they were in there, they were descending back into the basement of the farmhouse, and the elf girl Alicia jumped on a goblin to try to blind him, but got thrown off. So, roll a clip.
Can I roll for mental damage?
No, I mean, unless you're trying to cast a spell with it, but it's not your turn.
Can I also jump from the balcony and land on him?
I mean, Alicia's standing right in front of him. You get the feeling if you mess this up, you're gonna land on her.
So speech is a free action. I'm gonna yell up to you, do it. You won't.
Okay, but I just want this set ahead of time. You mess this up, you could land on her.
Okay.
Do it. I'm not scared.
Alicia, I'm surprised you didn't yell do a flip.
Do a barrel roll. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just slam into this guy.
That's
okay.
2d4, isn't it?
Yeah. Well,
I weigh 250 pounds.
Yeah.
I tell you what, we'll say this
You
is
weigh like
2d4
80 pounds.
and add your strength modifier.
What?
2d4 and add your strength modifier.
Alright. 2 and 2 and 1, 5.
Yeah.
Jesus.
This guy wasn't very strong. You just feel him break underneath you.
Oh my god. I can't. Let's go.
World Star.
World Star.
Okay, now what?
And then I'm going to look back up at Javin because I'm considering he's up at the stairs. I'm going to go, show us what you got. We all jump down here.
Downstairs.
I'm going to push his body underneath the stairs. Land on him. Do a flip.
Yeah.
I walk down the stairs and kind of step on him as I go over.
Boo! I yell boo. I lift up a sign because I still have parchment from earlier that says a 2 out of 10 on it.
Oh yeah.
Yep, him jumping on the goblin was just such an iconic moment. It was awesome, and we just keep referencing it years later. Now you're probably wondering what they do with the body. Now you actually probably weren't wondering that, but now that I brought it up, you are wondering it. You're welcome, and I'm gonna answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna drag his body around with me.
What the heck? Swing him pull his spine out and use it as a sword.
I already collapsed it. It's not gonna work.
Well, you're an alchemist. Turn it into a sword.
Wait, I can do that.
Heck yeah, you
Are
can.
you gonna start collecting bones and then make a weapon out of it?
I mean, that's literally what Alphonse did. He just used his.
Well, yeah, and then there was the time that they used the blood pool to make an iron sword out of.
Well,
Yeah.
This would be cooler than blood iron.
This would be a bone calcium. It would be like a hardened calcium sword.
Okay, so do you want to use some of? Okay, so you want to take the time use some of his bones and then the femur to make a I guess maybe an axe.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Bone crusher. I'm calling it bone crusher.
The bone crusher. So make it a mallet. Make it a hammer.
Be a hammer then.
Make it a war hammer.
Yeah.
I was gonna. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I suppose you can either spend 1 point and roll for it, or take your time, use 2 points, and not have to roll.
2 points. I am not screwing this up.
Yeah.
All right. How much does a warhammer do?
That should be a D8 if you. But I will check for you.
Because I'm really hyper, I'm gonna jump up and down and run around in a circle as he's doing it.
Yep. Okay, yeah. And if you hold it with 2 hands, then it'll be a D10.
Okay.
Nice. Yeah.
So now he has Bone Crusher as his signature weapon. He's been carrying that thing around since that moment. It's a warhammer made from the bones of his enemies. That is amazing. I mean, seriously, once again, creative use of alchemy, pulling together resources based off of what's just sort of there that most people would step over. Nope, he put things together, and it works for him. That is the Earthmover ingenuity that we've come to love. And you might be wondering, what could possibly top that moment? Well, number one is forming the Goblin Union. During the party's very first visit to the city of Farrell, Earthmover and Alicia were exploring the literal underground. They found out that these goblins were being controlled by a mysterious person named M. They made it seem like they worked for M in order to get more information. Then they spoke to one of the local crime leaders.
Are you accusing me of something?
No, I'm just kind of freaking out because if M finds out, it's my head on the cutting block.
Yeah. And he says, okay, before we go any further, you 6, and he gestures to the random goblins, you all leave. This is a bit above your pay grade. And they all start filing out. And the bugbears from before, they're now standing right next to the desk where Edu's sitting behind. So, you want to talk numbers? Let's talk some numbers. You think that we intercepted 3,000 gold pieces from the mission. Is that what you're saying?
We don't think, we know.
No. We don't know where it is. We're inquiring. Do you know what happened?
Are you saying that if I knew where it was, that I would just be sitting on it? This is the first time hearing of any such discrepancy in the bookkeeping.
Yeah, well now it's 2, so whether or not you've heard about it is really not any of my business, is it?
Look, I'm not very happy about large budget cuts either. As you can see, my people in this area aren't doing very well.
Have you considered a union?
Well, I mean, some of our employed members are part of worker unions, but I don't really think that's going to help the situation.
Are you sure? I'm sure it would help a little.
Well, I suppose, but we're not fighting for days off or better working wages. We're fighting for the respect of the goblin kind.
Sounds like a union would help there.
What, a goblin union?
Yeah, absolutely. Would you like to find out how to make one?
Okay, fine, I'll bite. And he sort of leans back in his chair slightly and says, "Tell me about these race unions. Go ahead, I'm listening."
And there we go. That moment really set the trajectory for the rest of the campaign. They decided that they didn't just want to punish the wrongdoers, but actually help them to not need to steal. Because of this, they would go on to help the goblins in rebuilding the abandoned middle town. That town is now the player's base of operations. I am really glad they went down this route, because it adds so much to the depth of the story. And there we go, my top 10 favorite Earthmover moments. You know, it was really fun to make this video and reflect on all the cool stuff we've done throughout the campaign. I hope that we have many great moments to come. To my players, I would like to say thank you for playing in this campaign. Now let's all close by saying happy birthday, Andreas. Until next time, bye.